Welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC Reloaded. I hope you enjoyed the event so far. Again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all speakers, attendees, and partners. If you do like our content, please head over to customersuccesscollective.com and check out our membership plan. With the CSC membership, you'll be able to have full access to on-demand videos, templates, framework, exclusive articles, and also rewatch all the presentation videos of this event. Now it's time, sit back and enjoy the next session. Welcome everyone, and welcome back to the Customer Success Festival APAC Reloaded. So next up, it's my honor to present you the next speaker, the Head of Cloud Customer Success APJ from VMware, Connie. Connie, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks, Ryan. Hi,
awesome.
Everyone. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So
awesome.
I can't see the faces, but if you would like to put in chat where you're from and say hello, that would be awesome, right? Okay.
Yeah, it'd be awesome if you put on some comments in chat. And we also have a live Q&A session after the presentation as well. So yeah, let me see your hands, and then Connie, the stage is all yours. Please take it from here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, please feel free to put your comments, questions in the chat, and then we can have at the end of the session we can have a Q&A session. Right. So let me introduce myself. So my name is Connie Y. I'm from Singapore, and I work in VMware, and I lead the multi-cloud customer success team in VMware Asia Pacific and Japan. So today I'm going to share my thoughts about how you go about designing and leveraging health scores in the customer life cycle. Right. Okay. So for those of you who are not familiar with VMware, these are the solutions and services that we provide to our customers. So we provide a set of solutions and technology services to big enterprise customers to help them modernize their applications, run their workload and platform on the cloud. And we also have a suite of networking, security, and remote workspace solutions to enable companies to manage their workforce working from home or in remote locations, right? So our solutions are very comprehensive, and we usually interface with the technology stakeholders within the customer organization. So we are talking about health scores today. So I wanted to ask the audience, if you can put on the chat, do you get asked these questions by your bosses, by your colleagues very often? Do you know if your customers are happy with your solution? Will they renew? What's the probability of them renewing their subscription, and will they buy more, right? We get asked a lot of times by my bosses and my management team, right? So how do you answer them, right? And also sometimes the answers varies depending on who you speak to within the customer organization, right? So this session is about how you capture the signals and the health of your customers, right, in an objective way, right? So when our customers use our solutions and services, they are constantly sending you signals about how they feel about it, right? So without you knowing, when they use it, they are already thinking about it, or they are telling you through their interaction with your team. So this session is about how do we capture and leverage those signals in a very objective and actionable way to drive some of these customer success conversations, right? So most importantly, these signals or health issues, we want to capture them before they become too late, right? Okay. So why do we want healthy and happy customers? I think this is a no-brainer, right? Why do we want customers to be healthy and happy? Okay, so according to industry data, happy and healthy customers is 8 times more likely to renew their subscriptions with you, right? And they're 4 times more likely or to increase their share of wallet with you, right? 3 times more likely that they're going to spend more money with you. So it seems like common sense that we want happy customers, right? So how do we know customers are happy or not happy? I think that is the million-dollar questions, right? So this is what today I want to share some thoughts that I have throughout my experience within VMware and in my past working life when I was managing different industries and different types of customers. So today, again, I'd like to hear from you. Do you use this these measures today? So churns, ARR, NPS, and CSAT. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with these measurements or KPIs. I have that in my company as well, right? So these are very commonly used throughout the industry. They are good measurements in my opinion. However, I think if you use them in isolation, there are some issues that you will face. For example, churn and ARR. These are what I call lagging indicators or customer success outcomes, right? So for take churn, for example, if a customer decide to have already made up their mind to leave you, most of the time it's already too late for you to do anything, right? Once that decision is made, it's very unlikely that you can change their mind, especially when you have very complex, sophisticated solutions like VMware. It takes a while for the customer to implement and also to move off the solution. So if they have made that decision to leave, then it's likely that you can't change their mind within a short time, right? NPS and customer satisfaction surveys, right? Most companies also use that. A few years ago, NPS was very, very popular, right? Because it is supposed to be very simple to measure and to use because you only ask the customer one question, right? So I also like to hear your feedback. How many times have you been asked by your company to go follow up with a customer who gave you a bad NPS score, right? As a CSM, I have many occasions that my manager asked me, please go follow up with company ABC. They gave us a bad score in the recent survey, right? So yeah, I'd like to hear if any of you have been asked to do that, okay? And how many of you have success in tracking down that customer and they are willing to speak to you to give you feedback about why they give you a bad score, right? And how many times do you use that feedback to make an action plan to change their mind, right? So I think those I see some of you say always, right? So we have those experience, right? So the NPS and CSAT, while they are good, they can be very, in my mind, very subjective, and they don't give you limited information or context why the customer gave you that score, right? For example, if a customer has a bad day, the software is not working well, is slow for whatever reason, and you happen to do that survey on that day. So you imagine, I think you can all know what score they're going to give you, right? So those are the reasons or the issues that I think these scores or these KPIs alone are not comprehensive enough. Then talking about what's good health scores, right? So they have to be predictive and forward-looking. It's what we call leading indicators, right? The reason, again, for example, churn, which is a very important aspect of customer success, you want to be able to predict that churn 6 to 8 months before the customer churns, right? That will give you enough time to react or make a plan to prevent that churn. So some of these scores have to let you make the prediction. So it has to be data-driven, right? You want to be able to objectively show your company, show your colleagues, and even your customers why they are unhappy about the company or your solutions, right? These scores have to be consistent and quantifiable, right? They need to provide, again, the company with actionable insights or plans to be able to change them. Lastly, they should be provide you with sufficient frequency, depth, and breadth across different aspects of your solution, systems, processes, and your customer journey. You must also be able to measure them over time and compare across different customers. Right? There's no point having a deep dive into one customer, but you don't know whether the customer's feedback or the way they feel is reflective of your overall overall solution, right? So you need something that you can implement across your whole customer portfolio. So I talk about what are the attributes or characteristics of good set of health scores. So now we want to then talk about then what scores or KPIs we really want to measure, right? So then it's time to get back to basics about what is customer success, right? So I really like this definition of customer success from the Customer Success Professionals Handbook. If you have not read this book, I recommend that you read this. This book is really good. It provides a lot of insights and recommendations and tips of how you can build a successful customer success practice. Okay. Also, would like to hear from you. How many of you know or can guess what CX and CO stand for? Yeah, feel free to put on the chat if you already know or if you want to make a guess. Yeah. Okay. CX is customer experience, and CO is customer outcome. So customer success, according to the CS Professional Handbook, is really a combination of the experience and outcome, right? Okay. And for the customer to feel successful using your company's solution, they must feel good with both in both areas, right? I'll give you an example of how do we see customer success and customer outcomes from VMware's perspective. So in the beginning, I said we provide solutions for our customers to run their infrastructure on their workloads and their workloads on the cloud, right? So there are various reasons why the customer wants to do that. One of the common reasons is to save costs and to be able to scale their infrastructure resources according to seasonal business requirements, right? So running their infrastructure or workloads on the cloud enable them to save costs when they don't need a lot of resources, and when they need the resources during peak season, they can easily scale them up. So that's what we call outcome of a desired outcome for the customer for using our product. Right. Experience is when the customer buy our product, the various engagement or touch points they have with us. So some examples are support processes, systems, billing systems, even CSMs. So what is their experience when they engage with our systems and processes? If they have issues, is it easy for them to log an incident ticket? Does our support team provide prompt resolution to their issues? So these are all counted as experience, right? So in the same example, if a customer on VMware adopt the solution, and one of their objectives is to save costs, but after a few months, if you ask them, they're not saving costs, right? But on the other hand, the users say that, oh, they love the solution, the interface is very easy to use. They love our support. We are always very prompt. So the experience is very good. That's very positive. But on the other hand, outcome, they don't feel that they have met their business objective or business outcome using the solution. So then overall customer success is not, I wouldn't say it's successful, right? So for customer success to happen or to be achieved, there need to be a balance of these two areas in terms of experience and customer outcomes. Yeah. Okay. So that's a very simple definition, but I think it really encompasses all aspects of customer success, right? So that's the reason why I think this is a very simple definition and very useful. Okay, so this will give us a hint of what we want to measure, right? So we want to measure experience and outcome. So I want to use this slide to put together what I have said so far in the customer life cycle, right? So this life cycle wheel, I think, is very familiar to all the customer success advocates and professionals, right? This we use this as our operating framework. Our customer most likely go through this cycle of onboarding, adoption, optimizing, and hopefully they will renew and expand if we do a good job, right? So in the center, I have this value wheel, which has the few things that I spoke about earlier: the value, the product value, the business value, and the experience value that our customers perceive or get from our solutions, right? So this will give you the framework of what you want to measure and what's important, right? There are some examples of the measures or KPIs under each value. So for example, product value, we talk about product features and defects and bugs. In the experience value section, we talk about like things like support, SLAs, right? So there are no fixed set of metrics that you need to implement. But most importantly, what you need to do is that look at specific stage of the customer life cycle and what are the key activities and objectives that your customer wants to achieve in that phase, right? So I will use onboarding and adoption as an example. So what do we want to achieve in onboarding? From a customer's perspective, they start paying us money as soon as they sign the contract or the deal is closed, right? They're already paying money. But do they get value out of it from day one? Most likely not, right? It's very unlikely they can start using the solution on day one. But you want to try and make it as quickly as possible. So the objective from this stage is to try and get the customer to onboard, deploy the solution as quickly as possible and as easy as possible. So in VMware, we have something called time to first value, right? To measure how long the customer takes from the point where they decide to sign the contract with us to the point where they start using the solution, right? In between, there are lots of activities, the onboarding, the deployment, the migration, right? So how easy are these steps in that onboarding stage is what we are interested to know, right? If a customer takes a long time to onboard and use your product, the ROI becomes lesser and lesser over time, right? Before you know, it may be time for renew, and they're saying, "Oh my God, we're still deploying after one year," right? So that's a red flag for you, right? In the adoption phase, you want as many customer users to use your solution as possible. So you look at the number of users daily, monthly, weekly against the plan or the licenses they have bought. So these are some examples that you can use to capture, right? Then the success outcome or success criteria and customer outcome we spoke about is it can be very case by case, depending on the customer. So like the example I gave earlier on about VMware, some customers want to save costs. They want to, some of them use the cloud because they are existing infrastructure has security concerns, compliance issues. So they hope by moving to a cloud environment, VMware take care of those compliance and security solutions issues, right? So those are the very common business outcomes that they want to achieve. So the CSMs work with the customer to understand what they see as the successful criteria, right? After they deploy the solution, did they meet the outcome in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, right? So it depends on, also the timing is a critical factor because you don't already achieve the customer outcome or business objective on day one, right? So the timing of the metrics is important, right? You need to understand what is the life cycle, how long does it take to onboard typically for your solution, right? For very complex technology solutions like VMware, it can take a few months to a year sometimes, right? It depends on the size of the deployment. So sometimes we need to then chunk it up and have different milestones. So we keep showing success to the customer, right? Because you don't need everything to be 100% done before you see successes or value for the customers. Yeah. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and a framework to design your health scores. So what I've shown here are very commonly used scores for a lot of customers, but the key is to pick 2 or 3 in each stage that you think are important to your company and to your customers, and then measure that and track that and report that, right? So this is what health scores is about. Okay. So we talk about collecting a lot of information and data, right? The important thing is, what do you do with them, right? So in the beginning, I spoke about it's important that you have time to change things, to improve things, especially when it is not going well for the customer, right? So the health score or the report can't enable you to do that, right? This is the KPI that you show your bosses, you show your other colleagues from other functions, what you need to do and where are the gaps and improvement areas we need to make, right? So use this to drive cross-functional improvements, right? We have a mechanism called Go to Green plan for our unhealthy customers. So if a customer is red or yellow, the CSM facilitate a Go to Green plan for the customer, right? So the CSM facilitates, but we are not the owner for every item on the plan. Depending on where the gaps or the area of improvements are, those functions need to own the action item, right? For example, if it's a support issue, then you need to work with your support organization to make improvements, right? Or it could be a product issue, then the product owner or the product team need to own that, right? We always need to remember CSM is customer success is a team sport, right? We facilitate, we surface the issues, the good and the bad, but we are not the team that is accountable, responsible for everything. I think that's a very important point to all of us. Okay, influencing product roadmaps based on your customers' usage or feedback. The product teams can prioritize product fixes or product features to implement, right? So they know what is important to the customer. And for example, a product bug, how many customers are impacted by the bug? That will give them some data to decide which ones to prioritize. Right? I think the last is also very important for customer success. what do you do with different customers, right? So we talk about customizing strategies for each customer. So a customer who is unhealthy or unhappy, who's has a potential to churn, you need different strategies compared to a customer who's healthy, right? So if a customer is at risk of churning, the objective is to try and turn around and keep them with you. So the things that you do are different. Again, depending on where the issues are, then you need to tailor that improvement plan to hopefully retain the customer. Whereas on the other spectrum, you have very happy, healthy customers and you want to grow them, you want to increase the ARR. So this group of customers have, you need a different plan or different strategy for them. So these are the things that you can work with sales organization to try and have different strategies for different groups of customers, right? So these are things that you are able to do or influence or make decisions because you have very objective, comprehensive health scores that you are tracking or reporting throughout your customer journey. Yeah, that's the So that's the end of my sharing. I hope you have learned some tips or can relate to some of the things I'm sharing here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Connie. It was a really great presentation. Oh, we got a question jump right in from Pooja. Thanks, Pooja, and everyone's commenting on your previous question. So what type of tool or product do companies usually use, or would you recommend to record customer health scores? Do such tools usually have an automatic integration with the survey tools or a CRM where you would be recording customer activities?
Yeah. So there are now many customer success tools. We use Gainsight in VMware, but there are a lot of similar tools like Client Success, various things. The important thing is that this customer success tool are integrating with the other tools, right? So for example, from a support perspective, we integrate with Jira, ServiceNow, so we can see what tickets the customer has opened in the last 6 months, for example, right? It's also integrated to our the technical part of it, so we can see how many users, how many licenses they have, and so on and so forth. And there are various dashboards and reports that can be generated, right? Some are pre-populated because they are used by everybody. Some can be a little bit customized by the CSMs based on how they want to view the customer, right? So there are a lot of tools that are in the market today that allow us to do that. Some of them needs quite intensive or sophisticated integration, right? If you have many systems and tools in the company to support your customer, then it becomes a bit tricky or complex to integrate, right? So it depends on what you want to measure, right? You don't want to measure every single ticket, every single adoption or usage issue, right? So the idea is that you need to, looking back at the life cycle view that I showed earlier, think about what's important to the customer, right? My recommendation is think about what is important to your customer and what you can measure today, because a lot of the measurements can be quite complex and you cannot do from day one, but doesn't mean that you cannot start to do some of this measurement that I shared. So start small, start quick, show value and results to your customer. So we shared some of these reports with the customers. They some of them are really happy with that because they don't see this from their own perspective, right? So they appreciate the insights and the customers, the information we share.
Yeah, thanks for answering that. We got some other great sessions, great comments and questions coming up. So we got Zipic here wondering how this is different from different companies. Is there a generic framework that we can all use to build it based on the needs?
Yeah, I think going back to some of these attributes, right? Being predictive, being objective, being having something that you can measure on a quarterly, monthly basis, right? You don't want to measure it once a year, right? Then you can't do a lot of things. So these are some of the guiding principles I would use, and then think about the industry that you are in, right? If you are a software company, then it's quite different from, say, a professional services company, right? So the way we measure success is quite different based on different industry. But there are generic or common things that we use. Like, for example, these scores here that I have shared are used quite commonly in a lot of companies. But again, depending, you don't measure all of them throughout this life cycle, right? So you have to look at what is important in each cycle, in each phase of the customer journey. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for your answer. We got some comments and questions here again. We have someone saying, if you don't have a CS tools like Gamesite, is it possible to check it manually, maybe with Salesforce? We also have Samantha had got his comments on the Salesforce experience already, saying that currently they have a customer field created in Salesforce. Do you have some more insights to share on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I just use Gainsight because we use Gainsight, right? But doesn't mean that you have to use Gainsight. So yeah, there are different tools, as I mentioned. There are some out of the box software as well that customer success teams can use. So you can, if you want to track it manually, again, depends on how complex and how many customers you have, right? So if you have thousands of customers like VMware, then you definitely need tools to systems to help you, right? Otherwise, the CSMs are going to spend all their life trying to create reports, gather data, right? But if you are a startup and you only have a handful of customers and you are starting, yeah, you can use a spreadsheet. I've done that in my previous company in a startup before. And it's a good way to start because then you, when you are small, you can think about what you want to do, right? And you scale. So as you grow, then you start to have more sophisticated tools, right? And yes, if you are in a smaller company, then you have less systems to integrate and to track, right? So because they are, you imagine the number of systems and tools you use throughout the life cycle of the journey. If you are selling a CRM from Salesforce, for example, right? So those are complex solutions. So obviously, the larger the company, the more systems data that you need to have. Yeah. So but that doesn't mean that you cannot start small. But you can, and I encourage everybody to start thinking of what is important to the customer and to your company, right? Those two have to come together, right? There's no point tracking something that's important to you, but at the end of the day, it means nothing to the customer. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks everyone putting up the comments and questions. I think I missed one earlier from the conversation. Sorry, Kevin. And Kevin's here is wondering which steps in the customer journey tend to be the most neglected, and what can business to do to address this?
I think it's the middle cycle because most companies are very focused on onboarding, right? There are a lot of metrics or sharing that I've seen from a lot of companies on onboarding. And then the renewals also are very focused, right? Because you are very concerned whether they will churn or whether they will expand, right? So in my opinion, the middle cycle, the middle stages here are always neglected, right? The optimization, right? So how do you, if you see a lot of users using your software, what are the optimization or improvements you can help your customer? I'm talking about improvements on the customer's perspective, not improvement on our as a vendor, our solution, right? Because as the customer has say 1,000 users on your solution, for example, you would want to think about how you can optimize for them, right? So one example is that if you see there are a few hundred users trying to download a certain report every day, right? So that's a good example of maybe there's something that you can help the customer. Why is everybody trying to download this particular report on a daily basis? Is that something that you can help them? So that's so in my opinion, we need to give equal focus on the entire life cycle and not try to onboard and then run away and come back again during the renewal cycle, right? So you need to provide that value realization throughout the life cycle. So that's my opinion.
Thanks again, Connie. If there's no further questions, I would like to wrap this up today. Thank you, Connie. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. It was a great session. We are having a lot of fun and a lot of insights from you, expert. So yes, I'll look forward to meeting all of you in our next session.
Thank you, Ryan.
See you again,
Thank you,
Connie.
everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Take care. I'll see you again soon in about 20 minutes. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.